and welcome back. It is Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO. I'm Chad Holmes. Here is what's going on in Wausau this morning. We are talking to Carol Lukens and Jean Abreu of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee. We've heard a lot about the use of pesticides. How do we get a balance? Because obviously they're not going away. Would be fair to say?
Yes.
But in terms of the pollinators and trying to, again, attract instead of going in the other direction, it feels like a very complicated issue, at least from my layman's perspective.
It is and it isn't, because I can't control what you're doing in your yard, but I can control, and move forward in my yard, and if everybody is just doing their part, even if it's just planting a little plot of native species, or just digging up a little of the lawn and putting 3 or 4 plants in, if everybody's doing their part and paying attention to their property, what can I do to help in my little plot of earth? That's the question you can ask. And you're right, it's very overwhelming and it's very scary, but we have to do what we can do, and everybody can do something, even if it's a container pot, on your apartment patio.
And businesses can have containers, pots of plants outside and things like that. But I also think that we each can help educate others as well. And as far as pesticide use, that is something that, again, has been an evolution for me myself. Years ago, I used to use pesticides or herbicides and things like that. And it's been about education for me, learning. Every year I learn more. And then I try to share that information. But any kind of pesticides, the, CIDE part of, the side part of the word means killing something. And so when we use pesticides, we're not only killing, the mosquitoes we may be using pesticides for. And I know that is a definite concern for people because of West Nile virus and other things like that. So what do we do about that? Well, knowing that, whatever we spray in our yards kills insects as well, and pollinators as well. Hopefully that will give us pause, because the sprays in our yard, one, they only last for a very short period of time. So, and it may kill the insects right there, but mosquitoes come back, right? And so that is not a good practice. And those kinds of sprays, we've been, like you said, we have more and more products, more and more of that, but we need to do the opposite of that. And there are many other things we can do instead of spraying our yard.
Well, let's talk about that, because obviously we get into this time of year. That is, nobody loves smashing their arms all the time with the mosquitoes.
And I was just going to throw in there that Doug Tallamy, who is just an insect expert and biological biologist, he reported that when we spray, 10 to 50% of the mosquito population in that area is killed, along with many other things. But what good is that if the other 50% is busy reproducing? And he had a solution that will cost you about $20 a season. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. And jump in. Okay. So I'm going to start with a couple of really simple things. One is to get rid of any standing water. So mosquitoes lay eggs even in tiny little puddles, clogged gutters, bird baths, toys, flower pots, saucers, puddles, any of that mosquitoes lay eggs in. So empty those or refresh the water at least once a week. And then mosquito dunks, is that what you were referring to? Do you want to speak on that? And
sure, because a mosquito dunk is a little round disc. And so for about $20, $30, you can get a whole season's worth of this material. And it is a little bacterium. And I don't, let's see, BTI, is that the bacteria in there? And it is specifically targeted to the diphtheria insect, which is the mosquito. So you get a black bucket, a little pail, you put some leaves, some straw, whatever, a little water in there. You want to create that yummy, yucky kind of murky water that the mosquitoes will be attracted to. Put it in the sun for a couple days, and the mosquitoes will come and start laying their eggs. You put a mosquito dunk in, and the dunk will eliminate, it will kill the larva.
Mhm.
So who else dies in this? Nobody. Just
Right.
the mosquitoes, and you're creating this ideal environment, and the mosquitoes will find it, lay their eggs, and that will considerably reduce your mosquito.
And where do you get the mosquito dunks?
Local hardware store. I
Mhm.
got mine in town here. So,
Yeah.
right. And a lot of people use them in like their ponds. They'll put those in. And again, it's not going to hurt anybody else except the Diptera, the mosquito larva. Now, I have a couple bats in my yard, and so I have this mixed, they like eating the mosquitoes, so I have to think about that too. We're eliminating a food supply for another little mammal, but
And we will have our final few minutes of our discussion with Gene Abreu and Carol Lukens of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee coming up in our next local segment at 8:22. Also coming up at the end of the show, we will have our daily history, not our history lesson, our number for the day quiz.
Yes.
And Ian is 0 for 2 this week, so you need to get on the winning track. But I
Yep.
wanted to let you know what the topic is.
Okay, I'm ready.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
So
Classic show.
Seinfeld will be the topic for the number for the day quiz coming
Sounds
up
good.
in about an hour. So
Awesome.
we're going to get you back on the winning track today, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Coming up next, it will be an information update, find out what's going on in news, weather, and sports. And then we'll be back with Matt Rothschild for more of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow here on 98.9 WXCO.